the hardest thing in this world to be is yourself. Let's discuss. Everybody, my name is Jacqui G. I'm an empowerment coach, and I am also the creator of the ISOARe Unique Success Code, which is your blueprint to your life, and if you do a business version, to your business. I was sitting here having a coffee thinking, how many people in this world are true to themselves 99% of the time? Like, they're literally being themselves. Now, often narcissists show themselves very well. They show the charming side to draw you in. They show you that side of themselves which is narcissistic, for lack of another word. That part where they have taken all the little pieces of information that you've shared with them, and then they start throwing it back at you in a negative, amongst other things. Now, for those of you who have gone through any form of violence or abuse, if you've gone through workplace bullying, you will know that once you lose your identity, it's really hard to be yourself again. Or the other thing that happens in this world, where it can be a challenge to be yourself, is where people have a particular perspective or point of view of who you are. And they haven't taken the time to see when you've grown, when you've changed, when you are different. Let me give you an example of that. Often in a workplace, people will observe you. You might be quiet. You might be chatty. You might be the organizer. You might be the person that just sits quietly in the background. But people will make a decision that this is who you are. But is it really who you are? Or is it how you show up in the workplace? Maybe you don't like crowds or loud people, so you are quiet and withdrawn. But really, you've got this amazing sense of humour that hardly anyone in the workplace gets to see. Now, workplace culture is a challenging one, and we're not going to go all into that. But today, I want you to think about, are you being yourself and accepting that you will change, you will grow, and also accepting that you are not for everybody. Let's go through a couple of little strategies on how you can be more of you without needing to change too much, and how to handle it when people say, nope, you need to behave a certain way. The first thing is to really know yourself at a core level. What do you like? What makes you laugh? What makes you smile? What gives you energy? How loud is your voice when you want someone to understand you? How do you show up in the workplace? How do you show up at a social event? Is all of this you? Because I guarantee you will show up differently in different scenarios, in different situations. So how many of them are actually you? Are they all you? Now, one of the things that I do, just popping my coffee down, is that when I take people through their unique success code and they get that blueprint at the end of it, the biggest thing that we look at is their core traits and their strengths, and a couple of other key pieces of information. We work together on it. And a lot of people have aha moments at this, because the traits that they use in the workplace are often the same traits that they show up at a social event or a family event with. But often they don't see that until we go through this unique success code with them. And one of the reasons I don't is because we put on different hats. Today I'm a mum. Today I'm a sister. Today I am a coach. Today I am being me, whatever that looks like. Now, as I said, I've spoken to a lot of people. I've met a lot of people around the world, and I've got to know the different cultures, and I hear from people all the time, yep, I just show up as I am. And I said, well, who is that? Like, how do you show up when you're stressed? How do you show up when you're excited? I mean, I'm not going to show you how I am when I'm stressed, because I want us to get along well. That one key thing, because I want us to get along well, is where we can often allow judgments in that determine how we show up. So if you're in the workplace And this is a good one that I do with bosses when we do, and managers when we do work health and safety, in the sense of health and well-being in the workplace, and we do inclusivity. I always struggle with that word. So what happens is that the moment, this is how you can test whether you're being you 99% of the time, uniquely you, right? With respect and, just some social cues would be nice, but with respect, is when there's a situation where you may be judged by someone else. And this is where a lot of people can get caught out when there is a person who is quite narcissistic in the mix. So let's go through this a little bit more with the judgments. If you can be yourself in almost any situation, bringing together your strengths, so those core strengths and those core traits, and you can be that person in every single scenario that you can think of. And then someone comes along and says, you know what, you need to behave differently. You need to be different. You need to do differently. Maybe you need to dress differently. Maybe you need to wear a different color. I really don't like the way you're speaking. They're judging you. How do you handle that? Now, if you can say, thank you very much for your feedback, or, okay, maybe I should have worn green today instead of pink. Okay, let me go check. Do I need a different lipstick? I'm not sure. If it's not really bothering you, then that is a great sign that you are standing in your own power. You are being the empowered person and you're being you. But, and I say this is a big but, often on the surface, when we maybe smile and say thank you for that feedback, I'll take it on board. If someone is pushing to get their external validation from you, which is, hey, I'm just trying to help you, and they're wanting something from you and you're not giving it to them, how do you handle that situation? This is a lot of what the Unique Success Code takes you through. But the thing is, it's the judgment, it's the behavior, and it's how you're being in each single moment when you're being you. I know, it's a bit weird, right? It's a bit like, what is she talking about? She lost me ages ago. She lost me 6 minutes ago. Hang in there with me. When others give us their opinion, whether we ask for it or not, how we handle it says a lot about whether we're being true to ourselves. Now, how I know when I'm being true to me is that somebody might give me some feedback and I went, okay, who are you? And what qualifies you to give me this feedback when I didn't ask for it? Like, what is this person's intention? And if I can calmly ask those questions, then I know I'm being me in this moment. But the other thing to be aware of is that if my neurodivergent traits are triggered, so I'm hypersensitive, hyper alert, I'm hyper vigilant for whatever reason, and that same person comes along and gives me that same piece of feedback, I may not take it as well as I could do. But what I've been teaching myself is to look at things and say, okay, so in this moment, my ADHD is triggered or my autism is triggered. So those traits are triggered. That is still me being me. So now's a good time to not look at that feedback, okay? Because this awareness of who we are and who we're being means that we can look at situations, the same situation in two different ways of judgments and feedback from others, and how we handle it and how we react or respond. Really good ways to know whether we're being present and true to ourselves. And that can still mean, right now, I'm too sensitive, I'm too triggered right now, I need to deal with these emotions before I go and look at that. Or if somebody's offering feedback, it's like, thank you, now is not the right time, which is still being you. Just that you're setting these healthy boundaries, and the boundaries might shift a little for the different moments that you experience being you. We are not happy. We are not vibrant. We are not energized. We are not in a good mood all of the time. We're not well rested all of the time. So getting to know you at a core level and how you react and respond in the different parts of being you. So right now, I'm being present with you, okay? But you may be listening as you're doing the dishes or as you're doing something else. So are you hearing everything that I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you'll hear what is right for you. So the big thing is that being true to ourselves means that sometimes we need to say, no, I appreciate you trying to support me. I appreciate that you have some feedback where I could maybe do something different. And maybe you're right. But right now, I'm too stressed. I'm too anxious. I'm too tired to actually hear what you're saying. Or maybe you just don't want the feedback in the first place. But how you deliver it back is the being part. And judgments and feedback are a really good test of where you're sitting right now in yourself. And it's okay to be triggered. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be sad. It just depends on how long you stay in those situations, and they're all part of being you. But the thing is that other people will make assumptions that something is wrong when you change your state of being. Let me give you a bit more of an example. So I was always the loud one in the workplace. Surprise! I can laugh at that now. Before I couldn't. So the thing is, I was always, good morning, how are you? How was your weekend? What's happening? Da-da-da. Now, because of my neurodivergent traits, which I didn't understand this for a long time, is that noise, and I've shared this in other videos. If I was on the phone, the noise in the background, because I worked in an open office area at one point, so the noise in the background was just as loud as the person on the phone. And to feel heard or make sure I was heard, I used to speak above that noise, which meant that I was very loud. Now, I wasn't intentionally trying to be loud. It was just so I could hear and process, because I couldn't hear myself if I was the same level as everyone else or quieter. Now, okay, these caused a few problems, but okay. But I was always the one that knew when people's birthdays were or a special occasion, so I always made sure that we had a little afternoon tea or a morning tea or something like that. That was me. I was, I guess, what some people called as the social butterfly, the organizer in there. Always thinking of new ways that we could lift spirits and team energy and things like that. That was me. Now, for me to be me in this work environment, I used to get the feedback, you're too loud. So I used to try and quieten it down. But one day I'd had some bad news before I came into work. I was on my way to work and I really needed to process it. And to process it meant that I was going to be a lot quieter. I scheduled my calls for the afternoon. So I mainly did emails and checked referrals and did all those other things before I made any calls. Okay, you with me so far? So I was quieter on this particular morning. I didn't walk in there and go, good morning, everybody. Or as people walked in, go, good morning, how are you? I just had my head down. I was looking at my computer and just processing the news that I'd heard. Nearly every person in that open office area came up and said, are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine, thank you. And then my boss called me into the office and he said, are you okay? I said, I am. I'm just having a quiet morning. He said, do you need to go home? I said, no, I'm not sick. I'm just having a quiet morning. He goes, well, everyone in the office is concerned. I said, why? I couldn't understand why everybody was concerned, because I was literally processing. I didn't feel like I needed to talk, but I was still doing my job. And he said, well, everybody's worried because you're not that, good morning, I'm going to get coffee. Who wants coffee? In fact, I don't even think I've seen you go get coffee. Like, you're just very quiet. And I said, I just had some news. I'm just processing it, but I'm doing my job. I'm okay. Thank you. Now, for the rest of the day, everybody watched me closely. It was like, oh, is she okay? Is she gonna be okay? And I had people come up and go, are you sure you're okay? All because they had never seen the quiet of it. They had seen me quiet, but they had never seen me really quiet. They had never seen me not say good morning. They hadn't seen that. So they didn't know what to do with it. And people made judgments that I was not okay because I simply rearranged the way my day worked. And that I was just, I didn't feel like coffee, so I didn't get it. So the thing is that in being true to you and in being you, sometimes people don't get it. Sometimes people don't like a different version of you. So my question to you is, if you change a little bit, if you grow, if you release weight, if you get a new job and you're super happy, whereas before maybe you were struggling, maybe you weren't as outgoing as what you could have been because you were worried about money. But now you've got this great job where you don't have to worry about money. Do people treat you differently? Do they think that you should be different? Do they accept the different you? The challenge isn't so much of you being you. The challenge is more how people react and respond to you being you. And the next part of this, which we will later on do another video on, is acceptance. So knowing who you are is one thing. You being you is perfect, and that's how you should be. You should be you, all aspects of you. You know all aspects of you, so why not own it? Why not be it? But then suddenly you change, maybe for the better, and some people won't like it. And this is when you go through change. Anyone that is narcissistic is going to really, they're not going to go. They're going to be attacking at you, and then they'll be nice again. And so if you're in a relationship and you get a new job and you're feeling super confident and super amazing, and finally, oh, it's like this freedom, I can be me, I love it. Not everybody's going to be happy for you. They're just not, because a lot of people like you stuck in a certain way. A lot of people like you a certain way because that brings safety to their life. So to be you can be challenging, but the next step is acceptance of you, and that not everybody's going to like the most empowered version of you. Not everybody's going to welcome it. In fact, a lot of people might push back at it. So being you can be one of the hardest things. And once you understand that, and understand that everybody's got an opinion, everybody's going to want you to be a certain way. And if you're not, and you start to maybe push back a little where you never pushed back before because you've got your confidence, don't give up that confidence. Take a step back, breathe, and say, what is right for me? What brings me the most joy, the most happiness? What makes me feel alive and good? Okay, these people don't like it. That's okay. I can accept that. I might feel a little sad. Maybe I wanted them to accept me, as I've improved my life, as I'm living a life that brings me joy, as I'm traveling, as I'm doing what makes me happy. I just wanted people to celebrate that with me, and they can't seem to do that. Got to find fault in it. Still going to do it. Feeling confident, going to back myself. Your certainty comes in when you have this acceptance. Now, one of the things that I found when I take people through their unique success code, this blueprint for their life, is that they know exactly how to handle those situations with grace, with integrity, with respect. And they know with certainty themselves so well that they can be themselves with confidence, because they know with clarity who they are. And every time I do it, like every single time, I get this, wow, okay, this makes so much sense now. So if you'd like to learn more about being you with that confidence with that certainty, then keep following for more tips, tools and strategies. Look out for our events and maybe consider becoming a member in our ISOARe Empowered Life membership, which gives you tips, tools and strategies for every aspect of your life. And in there is members only content, obviously, and then there's the option to opt in for your weekly empowerment text message if you choose. So we'd love to have you as part of the membership. So keep an eye out for that link in our description. On YouTube, we put like where our links are. Keep an eye out for it on other social media pages, because when you are true to you, when you be you with confidence and accept that not everybody's going to love it, but you know that it's right for you, it is incredible how your life can be. And the biggest thing is it reduces your stress levels. It reduces you questioning yourself, that those little records that maybe you played of like a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of, you know, this annoys me when people do this. It helps to remove any jealousy out of your life, even though you might not think it's jealousy, it potentially is. So yes, being completely you takes you knowing yourself at that core level. You can do it. If you'd like to learn more and you really want to know more about our membership, then comment membership below in this video. In the comments, comment membership, and we will pop the link in where you can look at it more as soon as we launch it. And that launch date of that membership will be at the beginning of May 2026. So if you're watching this after May 2026, then that membership link will be there. But we look forward to having you there. And keep an eye out for our events, because we take people through in it as a group, their unique success code, and the room always buzzes. There's really high energy and lots of fun and lots of laughter in those events. We love them. So keep an eye out for those as well. We're going to do online ones and we do in-person ones. So depending on where you are, you might be able to attend an in-person one or maybe an online one, but they're both, there is so much fun in them. Like I love it. I get excited every time I think about these events. So thanks for watching, and just be you, but take the time to really know every aspect of yourself with so much clarity. The more you know yourself, the more you can be yourself, and you won't get taken off track by anybody. You will only make changes when you're ready to and when you choose to. That is so important.